Hello, we're back once again. This is your BOP Houston Rockets podcast. What's up, guys? I got my boy Dante here with me today. We're talking to you about Houston Rockets' crazy game last night. We're gonna talk about that as well as KPJ's pretty solid game, as well as Brooklyn's future as they're tied to us. Dante, what you got for me today?
Man, shout out to for y'all having me on. Shout out to you Pastor AD, director of this thing, man, for having us on as Rockets fans. Good to get together to be on to talk about our Rockets, to talk about the future, what they could do, who they could trade, how they've been doing, and it's really good, man. So I'm ready to get right into it for last
Yeah.
night.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, looks like we lost 116-110 to the Magic, and Magic Twitter was going crazy. I didn't get to watch the game necessarily, but it was pretty tough. It looks like Paolo had a solid game of 23, 13, and 3, shooting about 45% from the field. He had 5 turnovers, so it felt like we were playing solid D on him. But all of a sudden, Franz Wagner, going off for 25 as well on 6% shooting. It seemed like our perimeter defense wasn't doing too well, which seems like a common theme as of late. He shot 4 for 8. Yeah, I feel like it's come back to our defense.
Yeah, like you said, we didn't do too well on the perimeter defense, but I want to just get something straight. Everybody knew. I said I even knew Pablo was going to be the better player than Jabari Smith. So you're going to get a lot of questions here. Did we make the wrong pick? I will still say no until this day because we didn't even have a chance to pick Pablo he was picked number 1, so he didn't slide down to us. It ain't like we actually passed on Pablo Banchero because before the draft, the rumor came out 2 days before the draft. Raphael Stone did meet with Paolo Banchero. If he would, and he even came out and said if he was there, he would have picked him. He would have picked him if he somehow dropped. If he somehow dropped, OKC was clearly sold on Chet Holmgren. They picked him immediately right away, and the Rockets ended up picking Jabari Smith. So you're gonna hear a lot of narrative that he's a bust. They were saying the same thing about Jalen Green, from the first 2 months of the season until he became the best rookie during the All-Star break. So I believe Jabari Smith for us, he's going to be more of that 3 and D, 6'10" sharpshooter than us. I believe he's going to be more that 3 and D. I think he's going to be a good player. I don't think he's going to be a superstar. I think he's going to make a couple of all-star teams. Pablo is going to be a superstar in this league. He's going to be a superstar in this league. Create his own shot, put the ball on the floor, shoot over guys. That's going to be Pablo. But definitely he had 13 rebounds. He had 13 rebounds last night. You can see when he got the ball, he went to the basket. He yelled at Jabari Smith after Jabari Smith kind of blocked his shot earlier in the game. Franz Wagner, him and Pablo Banchero been their best players all year long. We started giving up second chance opportunities to Mo Bamba. Their second unit played really good. Their second unit got the game separated a little bit. We got outplayed in the second unit, and I'm trying to figure out. Okay, Daishen Nix had 19 points against the San Antonio Spurs. All of a sudden, he comes out and he throws a goose egg. He throws a goose egg. But why is you played Tata Washington 2 games? I thought Tata Washington was okay the last 2 games. Against San Antonio, comes in, fill it up 9 points immediately. Why is Tata Washington not played the last 2 ball games? I don't understand that. Last I'm holding, we all on this podcast say Tata Washington should be getting more of the minutes. We like him over Daishen Nix. Yep. And we seen the guy we wanted. Now Stephen Silas all of a sudden want to bench him. All of a sudden for Daishen Nix will tell you they like Daishen Nix really a lot. And last night after they put the zone defense on us, we just couldn't do anything. The ball got stagnant. The ball movement wasn't there. We turned the ball over a lot. We had a couple of live balls, 2 back-to-back live ball turnovers were turned into easy transits and layups, and everybody just standing around moving. And Stephen Silas decided to put, LP because his playmaking ability and his ability to make the right decision. He decided to put him in the middle too late. The zone started breaking down, but that was too late. You make the adjustment way too late. So at the end of the day, got to give credit to Orlando Magic. They played better than we did. The second unit gave them a big lift. We don't even have a second unit. So outside of Tari Eason and KJ Martin, Tari, played his normal stuff, 9 points, hit a couple of threes. He's starting to improve on the three. You can argue, like I say, him and KJ should be starting over Eric Gordon. I think we just need to go ahead and send him somewhere where he can contend. But other than that, man, disappointing loss, man. Come to lose like that to San Antonio, the same way you did it in San Antonio. Embarrassment in the third quarter where they didn't even have Keldon Johnson, who was killing us the first time. They had Devin Purcell, and for you to lose that game like that, then you up by 15, 77 to 62. They put the zone on you. You can't do nothing. Just a frustrating loss for the Houston Rockets, and that falls on Stephen Silas, the head coach.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like often, we're getting out coached here. We had our John Lucas come up on rest in peace, older Silas, by the way. We had John Lucas coach that game, and we won. I mean, I've never seen our team really have that kind of energy, especially with the head coach, since our Houston Rockets championship days aspirations. And, it seemed like Lucas was a really nice it was a really nice breath of fresh air there, and I appreciated that, And then Silas comes back. I think we won back-to-back, and then we faced San Antonio, and like you said, we lost the same exact way, really started to fall apart in that third quarter with that zone defense. We see zone defense. We just get scared. Yep. It seems like it's a common theme these days where we can't find a way to blow up that zone defense, which, I personally, I don't play, so I can't tell you how. However, as a coach, you should have all of these plays. You should be ready. And you're facing, the Magic, who had less wins than us at the time, and now we've got the same record. I'm just kind of appalled in regards of how Silas is able to come out here and act like this kind of head coach. But really, I think he's a better assistant. I'd like to see more John Lucas at this stage, especially when we got, like you said, Daisha Nix playing 12 minutes. And he's going 0 for 4. He got his turnover, his personal foul, 1 assist. but like, I mean, like you said, Ty Ty didn't even play a minute this game, And Bruno Fernando went from being our starting center to playing 3 minutes. I'm not understanding what's really going on here. And I do like Usman. I really do. But like you said, he's kind of a liability on offense. He's not a great finisher at the rim. He doesn't play above the rim. He's a solid screen setter, but he's not a great ball movement guy. He can't shoot, I mean, in the Eurobasket, he was going crazy. I was kind of hoping that game would translate. But instead, he's out here putting up 12 minutes and 0 for 2. It's sad. And like you said, when it comes back to our starters, Eric Gordon out here, he's supposed to be our solid veteran presence, but he's shooting 3 for 11. We need you to perform so that way we can get good trade value for you and get you to a team you want to go to, Like, I mean, I'm sure Milwaukee would love to have you come off the bench right now. Or even the Celtics, a Celtics bench of Eric Gordon and Malcolm Brogdon would be insane right there. But if you play like that, going 2 for 6 from 3, I'm putting up 8 points, in 32 minutes. We got to get something for you. You got to help us before we can help you. I know Jabari didn't play too well. It looked like he went 4 for 11 today, but I'm okay with that. He's shooting 5 threes. So inside the arc, he shot 2 for 6.
Yeah, inside the 5. He shot 2 for 6 inside the arc. He shot 2 for 5 from the 3.
Yep. I'd rather have him go 2 for 5 from the 3 and 2 for 6 from inside the arc than the opposite. We want him to be our sharpshooter. Take as many threes as you want. I'm okay with that, But in regards to, like you said, Paolo, man, Panchero, as I call him, bro's going, 9 for 20. So of course he's gonna have 23 points because he's taking 20 shots. It's not a very efficient night.
And he is the man of the team. He is the man of the team already as a rookie. So he's going to be more aggressive. He's going to get more of the shots for Orlando. Jabari is not going to be like that. Jabari was like that in Auburn, but he's different when it comes to the NBA level. Pablo is basically saying he's like that against Duke. He was like that at Duke. He's like that coming out of Orlando. He comes out in Orlando immediately the best player of their team. So you got to expect him to be the leading guy. You got to expect him to shoot up 20 shots a game. You got to expect him to be he's even probably more efficient than Jabari is right now. He take more shots than Jabari. Jabari don't even shoot a lot of shots. He doesn't even get a rhythm like that. But when Jabari opportunities, I am seeing Jabari last night. I am starting to see him pass up on open three-pointers a lot, being a little bit of hesitant when he struggles. So we just need to find some way to get him the ball, whether if it's in the post, if he got a small guy posting up, and he is doing a good job of that. He is doing a good job of that lately. I've been seeing him posting up and shooting over guys. He shot over a guy against Portland. He shot over Damian Lillard against Portland. He did it again last night with his 6'10" frame. He can get that shot over anybody. He can't put it on the floor too much, but he can shoot. He can rise up and shoot. He still have trouble, finishing at the basket. But I think that's going to be fine. But the more what I look at Jabari Smith, the more impressed I am of his defense and his willingness to take the challenge. And he's starting to get a couple of block shots for us, and he's easily almost becoming, our best perimeter defender. And he's been good protecting the rim. The only thing about it is he's just small, and he's just small. He's gonna get bullied at times when he's playing against the best. But again, I like the way that he wants to take that challenge. He's not backing down. Again, the Giannis game caught my eye really, really good, because the way when he was on Giannis by himself, he literally shut Giannis down. He even blocked his shot off the backboard that started a fast break when John Lucas coached that game. So he definitely locked up Giannis. So now we all of a sudden gave him a nickname called Locksmith. Smith, and he's been doing good on defense, so that's where his value is going to be most of. But I'm not concerned about Jabari Smith making shots. That's going to come back to later during the season. He's going to start making those.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, on the season, he's averaging about 11.8 points a game on 37% from the field and 34% from three.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. I'm okay
not
with
bad
the
from
3-point. I'm okay with the 3-point percentage, especially because he's shooting almost 6 threes a game. I'm absolutely okay with that. And his free throw percentage, I think, is the highest on the team with 83%.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time we had our big man shoot over 80%. That's very nice to see.
Yeah.
And he's averaging 7.1 rebounds a game with 5.5 steals and a block. So I'd say, like you said, like on his defensive end, the stat sheet doesn't do justice on how well he's able to really guard the perimeter, as well as the help side defense. It's reminiscent of that 2017-18 improved Giannis year, where he became the league's best help side defender. I really like how he's able to spread the floor with his wingspan, But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a scoring league. And Paolo, of course, is getting that kind of attention. He's shooting about 16 shots a game on 45% with 22 points per game. Yeah. And we did like him. I mean, coming into the draft, I was ready for Barry to go 1. I was ready for Paolo, but it didn't work that way. And that's fine. That's fate. That's destiny, however you want to say it. But Paolo was actually increased his 3-point percentage. I believe he's shooting about 23% from the field in the beginning of the season, but now he's shooting almost 32%. That's kind of nice to see on his end.
Yeah,
as well as 7 rebounds, 4 assists. He's averaging 3 turnovers a game, which they're not talking about much, but he's a rookie.
He has the ball more. He has the ball in his hands a lot more.
Yep. And I don't know. I do, as a Rockets fan, it's hard to admit, but I do like the dynamic that they're running with him. Paolo just really fits on that team. And I don't know if he would really fit here because, and I'm not saying Jalen Green's a ball hog because he ain't. He shares the rock too much. He's too unselfish, in my opinion. But when we want to build up our superstar, we can't have 2 future superstars on our team. I like how I could see in the future Jalen Green being our superstar, that MVP caliber player, but Jabari being more that all-star caliber player, that catch and shoot Chris Middleton kind of thing, and I'm absolutely okay with that. If we drafted Chris Middleton, that's fine. He won a chip. I'm cool with that. I like that.
Yeah.
As far as our starting lineup goes, it seems as of late, Eric Gordon's getting outplayed consistently by KJ Martin.
Yep.
I mean, we've all been clamoring for him to play. He's playing. He played 28 minutes last night. He's playing 4 minutes less off the bench than Eric Gordon is, right? And the difference is they both took 11 shots, except one shot 64% from the field, and the other shot 27. And you'd assume that's your bench player, your veteran, but no, your veteran's out here, like you said, kind of laying goose eggs. KJ's really been stellar. I also believe on defense, that help side defense too. He's pretty good at, and his athletic ability, his jumping ability, his leaping ability is just unprecedented. I think it catches people off guard. I think he almost blocked Giannis on that one play a couple games ago. I just love what KJ does. He's putting up 18 points a game, 4 boards and 5 boards, 4 assists last night, and that's very solid. That's very nice in 28 minutes of run, especially when your backup point guard is stationed next. And you can only do so much. Can only do so much with that kind of that thing on the field. But I would like to talk about the bright side. All right.
Yeah.
KPJ, 12 for 19, 5 for 9 from 3, 6 boards, 5 assists, 3 steals, a block. 5 turnovers. That's fine. You can have that. 31 points. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. People, everyone wants to say KPJ not a point guard. That's fine. He's not a traditional point guard. Well, he's our point guard, right? But you want to say, what is a traditional point guard these days? There are just a few, right? You can name Chris Paul.
Chris Paul.
I'd like to say Tyrese Halliburton is more of that traditional
Yeah.
Yep. But I mean, it kind of falls off after that,
Yep.
KPJ is more of a combo guard. And I'm fine with that. He just needs to be able to differentiate a little bit better when deciding to score for himself and pass the ball. But today he
Yep.
chose correctly and shooting almost 63.2%. I want that more. Him taking 20 shots, that's fine. But I saw Jalen Green, he 8 for 17, except he went 0 for 1 in the fourth. We got our
Yep.
future superstar
Take
taking
one shot.
one shot in the fourth quarter. Silas.
First of all, yeah, and that goes back on Steven Silas, because by the time Orlando had the momentum, you decide to bring them in when the momentum was already gone. Again, you brought them into at almost the 6-minute mark. You brought them in almost at the 6-minute mark when the second teamers for Orlando was already getting going, and we was already stellar off them playing their zone defense. Once you saw them getting up 5 or 3 minutes going into the fourth quarter, you should have just brought them in. When the team couldn't score, the second unit couldn't score. Daishen Nix shooting air balls wide open, couldn't make a shot, couldn't buy a shot, was even scared to shoot. It was one play where he double pumped twice. Orlando was baiting him wide open. He didn't want to. He was scared to pull a trigger. He ends up airballing the basketball.
So, you're a guard.
Yes, your guard. Your guard is scared to shoot the basketball. And like I say again, he brought him back in too late when the momentum was already pretty much lost. The Rockets were still in the game, but you already brought him in, and it brought him in when the momentum was gone. You wait till about almost 6 minutes and 30 seconds to bring them back in. That's 6 minutes of them being on the bench, and the loss of the momentum happened at the beginning of the fourth quarter when we were down by 5. So at the end of the day, that goes back on Coach Steven Silas, and your superstar Jalen Green should not be taking one shot. Should not be taking one shot in the fourth quarter. He should be the main guy you actually almost go to when you need a bucket, or count on when you need a bucket. But KPJ was good all game long. He got off to a really, really hot start. He got a steal immediately. He played some very good defense. And I mean, like I say again, it's very rare you see a traditional point guard in this league. Like you say, Tyrese Halliburton, Chris Paul is the ultimate point guards up in this league, and everybody else, it goes from there. They're basically combo guards. You still got guys that can average at least 9-8 assists a game. But again, KPJ, you're gonna need scoring up out of this guy. Let's be real. You're gonna need a lot of scoring up out of this guy. And he definitely did it. He definitely showed up last night. And LP definitely always, he shows up every single time, down there almost every single night. He almost shows up, but he missed too many easy layups. But like I say, Mo Bamba hype was kind of bothering him a little bit.
Yeah.
But like I say, he plays hard. He plays hard every single night. But Kevin Porter Jr. definitely stepped up when we needed him to. And unfortunately, he was set out too long. He was brought back in. When we were down 5. By that time, momentum had switched on Orlando side. They had too much momentum. They brought the starters back in. Then you got guys like Markelle Fultz getting offensive rebounds, hitting reverse layups, and Mo Bamba was able to keep a couple of possessions alive for them, and they were able to capitalize on them.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell when we're playing for a dub and trying to tank, because Silas plays the same either way. I mean, I understand wanting to win the tankathon battles here, but I mean, we're playing the Magic. I mean, that's our rival team, if you want to say, in terms of like picks or whatnot, but we got to win those games. We absolutely have to, especially if we want to leave our guys on the bench, right, for half of the fourth quarter. At that point, you might as well just leave them on the bench. There's no point in bringing them back in, because not that I don't believe in our guys, but like you said, the momentum switches too much. And when the Magic have had the momentum, I mean, they've blown a couple guys out, this season. I believe they also beat the Warriors with Curry going off for 40.
They beat the Celtics twice.
Yes,
they beat them twice this weekend.
Yep, it's we can't underestimate them, and understanding that them having the momentum shift on their side, we got to do something to stop the bleeding, and I mean, leaving Daishen Nix for 12 minutes. I mean, look, any other team, they're not even playing Daishen Nix. He's probably getting cut, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, 12 minutes. I understand 5. 7. Okay, you want to have that secondary point guard. That's fine. But Jalen Green needs to be playing, 38 minutes in these close games, 39 minutes. I understand we want to have the load management talk and yada, yada, yada. We don't want to pull a D Rose. I get it. I understand. Okay. But Jalen Green is our superstar. He needs to be in as long as possible, right?
Yep.
I mean, LeBron used to be playing, 40 minutes a game. All right. Jordan was playing almost 40 minutes a game. We was comparing Jalen Green to Jordan coming out from high school or Jordan's college year to Jalen Green's G League Ignite year. I remember that. We need to be sure that, we treat him as such. I mean, 17 shots. Honestly, I don't care if Jalen Green's shooting 7 for 30. Just get your shot up. Get you up there. You are a main guy. I understand Eric Gordon is our safety blanket. I understand that KPJ needs his shot too, because we do. But I mean, it's also kind of hard for us to get our shots up when we fouling 23 times and getting 16 turnovers.
Yep.
I mean, it's tough. We had Bari had 4 turnovers. That's fine. We understand because he's a rookie. All right, Jalen Green had 4 turnovers. We understand he's our main guy. Not that I'm saying these turnovers don't matter, but I mean, come on, And KPJ, he had 5 turnovers. I get it. He's not a traditional point guard. I understand, but the ball needs to be tighter. We need to be making sure that we're cohesive, and not just throwing the ball wherever or dribbling the ball off our leg consistently or stepping out of bounds. Like you said, you had that coming out in the third quarter and had the back-to-back turnovers. I mean, guys, we got to be, get our head up out of our and make sure we're really in the game, especially Bari, right?
Yep.
They're only playing 27 minutes a game or 27 minutes tonight, right? This is supposed to be like the marquee matchup between Bari and Paolo, and we want to display him. We got Bari playing 27 minutes, but out here, Ponchero is playing 32. So we got Paolo playing just 2 minutes less than our star player. And, we got to line up the minutes a little bit better. We need to really be making sure our rotations are better. And at the end of the day, that comes down to Silas and a trade in the front office.
Yep. And we also shot way better than them from the 3-point line, and we still lost. It's very well we shoot 39%, almost 40% from the 3, and we still lose a game like this. Orlando shot was horrible from the 3, 29%. They also missed 10 free throws, and we shot 17 free throws and missed 6 of them, went 64% right there. But Orlando from the they had 15 fast break points, and they scored 50 points in the paint. They had most of their points in the paint, so the paint was wide open. The paint was wide open all
free
night.
Real estate.
Yeah, just free real estate, and we had 17 turnovers, and we had a bus load of them in the fourth quarter. We had one with KPJ passed the ball. I think back he passed. I forgot who was over there on that left side, but no, I guess KJ Martin. That was KJ Martin, and he didn't know he was giving them the ball, and it ends up going up out of bounds. Now, them the kind of turnovers I can live with, but then also you threw 2 back-to-back turnovers. What led to easy buckets in the fourth quarter. That cannot happen. Those live ball turnovers cannot happen in the fourth quarter, especially throughout the whole game, to lead to fast break points. So again, we got to clean up on the turnover. We got to clean up on that. We only had 6 going into the third quarter, so we turned the ball over 11 times in the second half. That's just 11 possessions. We didn't get a shot up. We really didn't get a shot up in the second half. We got to make sure we get a shot up every single time. And when we're turning the ball over, we're not going to beat anybody. When we're turning the ball over and missing free throws and letting people get to the paint anytime they want to. So we had 11 turnovers in the second half. We came out of the third halftime with only 6 turnovers, and we had 11 in the second half. That just cannot happen.
Yeah. See, I don't really like to complain to the refs or anything like that, but when the disparity is 33 shot free throws to 17, there's something going on there. I understand that Paolo, he's going to get his free throws now, but he only had 8 free throws, and we had, Wagner shooting 5, had both of Wagner brothers actually shooting 5, Markelle Fultz all of a sudden getting 7 free throws, I mean, I don't even know who Admiral Sheffield.
Yeah, I saw him last night.
He got 3 free throws. I can't even pronounce his name. I don't even know who that is. But I mean, we got Jalen Green, our superstar, getting 2 free throws. I mean, the way that I see Jalen Green driving, man, it should be a foul almost every time. He hits.
He be driving hard and he don't get the calls. He don't get it.
It reminds me of the Houston days, towards the very end there in 2020 when Harden is trying to do a step back threes after the rule change, and I mean, they're not calling it because he's kicking his leg out. But a lot of times he's getting the crowd in his space and whatnot. They ain't calling it on his drives. They ain't calling it like Harden in his early Philly days. The first season he was traded there, he's driving to the basket. They're not calling it, not calling it, not calling it. And there was a day he got a foul call and he threw his hands up saying thank you because he finally got his first foul call of the season. And that was like 6 or 7 games in. I mean, it feels like there's something against Houston, when it comes to these fouls. I mean, we do lead the league in free throw rate and free throws attempted. So you figure we'd be shooting a little bit better. But we're sitting about 71, 73% on the season, and that's not fantastic. We would be doing a little bit better had we be converting them. But again, when we don't get the opportunities given to us, or when we get hit on fouls and we stand there and throw our hands up and not getting back in transition defense, and then like you said, it leads back to these easy free real estate paint buckets. I'm all about wanting to get you a foul, but if you don't get it, you just got to get up and go. We'll complain for you on Twitter. Don't worry, we got you guys.
And we do a good job of rebounding the basketball. Like we been out rebounding out opponents. I think we among the top of the team lead in rebounds in the league. So that speaks how good Jabari been helping on the boards as well. Tari Eason comes in every single time and just give a boost of energy. Like I said, I think him and KJ Martin, should be probably fighting for the starting lineup. I really think Tari Eason is the future of this team. And I prefer to start him, but I also wouldn't be mad if KJ gets a start because he's been playing really, really well. He's been playing really, really well. But I think Tari Eason shoots the 3 more better. He shoots the 3 more better than KJ. So I like Tari Eason and Garuba on the floor for his defensive purposes, but Garuba is actually on the offensive side turning into a liability, and that's something that can kind of hurt a basketball team. Really, you cannot be a liability on the floor, not being able to shoot on the offensive side of the ball. You can see when he immediately gets the ball, he immediately passes. And he be wide open. And early on during the season, he was hitting those wide open shots. He was confident shooting those wide open shots. Now he's not so confident shooting those wide open shots. If you're open, I prefer you shoot that wide open shot. Get a defensive look. Get a defense, at least a look. And stuff like that. Let the defense know, hey, I will shoot it. I will shoot the ball. Keep them honest. You never know, an offensive rebound can come. But like I say, you can't be on the floor not trying to attempt a shot. And he gives great energy, though. He gives effort. He gives heart. He gets offensive rebounds. He plays very good defense. But like I say, in this league today, you need for you to have a long-lasting career, you got to be able to shoot the basketball. And I say, while we starting the question, is Garuba becoming unplayable on the court, not because of his defense, because of his offense?
Yeah, he's had some disparities going to the cup. I understand, kind of like Jabari there or Tari missing these wide open layups, but something happened. There was a switch between the Eurobasket, and then coming back to us. I understand, like you playing for your country, you out here, you really supporting them. I mean, you coming over here to make millions and you missing wide open layups and you scared to shoot the ball, So like if we wanted Ben Simmons, we would have traded for him. And we did. Yep. There's a reason for that, right? We do like the hustle. We appreciate the defense, but you got to be more of a complete player these days. It ain't the 70s, 80s, or 90s. We have to have an almost all-around game. And we're not asking you even to pass the ball. You just got to shoot it. It don't matter if you're making them right now. You just got to keep the defense honest. That's what we care about,
Yep.
And coming back, to the KJ v Tari shooting disparities, I did not realize KJ was shooting 31% from 3.
Hey, it didn't look like it. It didn't look like the way he started shooting this year. It didn't look like it.
No. And Tari shooting 38% from 3.
He shot at 37 in college, I believe. He shot at 37%. So he is a great 3-point shooter.
Yeah, he's a great shooter. I'm honestly, I'd be okay with. I'm not all for load management.
Yeah.
But this next game we play, honestly, I don't see why we don't experiment. Take Gordon, Jabari, and Alp out of the lineup. Let them rest, and start KJ, Usman, and Tari. Right? Then you got KPJ and Jalen as being your main offensive focal. We can get Bruno a couple more minutes, and Ty can play.
Yeah.
And I also think we need to send, because I want to talk about this. We sent Josh Christopher
to the G
down to the G League. Okay, but we got Dacian Nix.
He's not even getting an opportunity to play. He's not even getting. He's too good for the G League. Josh Christopher is too good for the G League. He's too good.
Last night he just hit a game winner. Yeah, I think he had 29 points. Like, Josh in the G League is like sending Jalen down to play college kids. It's insane. They Michael Jordan down there, you know. I really think they need to kind of switch that up. I would like to see. I understand the Knicks train. I understand wanting to come up and have this guy be good because he is a bulky guard and he's
Mhm.
an okay playmaker. But other than that, I don't see the use for Knicks. You know, I don't want to be rude. Like I said, I like Knicks. You know, as a player, I suppose, but not necessarily for us on our
Yeah,
team. You know, and some players, you know, they're just not for the league, and that's okay.
yep.
There's, you know, you're good for a reason. You got drafted for a reason, but you got to find your niche. You know, like Bobo, right? Going over playing the Nuggets, you barely get any playing time, and then all of a sudden he's looking like a freaking all-star on the Magic. You know,
Yep.
it's insane. I
It's
would like.
insane how this man is. Didn't get no playing time for the Magic. Wasn't enough space for him. I mean, for the Denver Nuggets. Now he
Mhm.
goes to the Magic. He act like actually like he plays a real basketball player now. But like I said again, I just think Tata, we like you said, you explained it perfectly. We don't think Daisha Nix is a bad player. We just think Christopher and Washington is better players. That's all we just
Yes.
see. They just better players than Daisha Nix is, and the organization is more higher on Daisha Nix than he is Tata Washington. The moments that he got playing time, Tata looked pretty solid out there. We just think
Mhm.
he's a better player at this time. He can create more space. He can get open once he gets to the paint and shoot that floater. That floater is like damn near
Woo!
automatic when he shoots
Woo!
that floater. But
He's
Josh
shooting
Christopher,
100%. I don't think I've
yes,
seen him miss a single floater down low.
man, that when he gets to that, when you saw how many times in San Antonio when he got that floater, he knocked it down pretty much every
Oh
time.
my
The floater looked smooth.
gosh.
He's also a very good playmaker. He can shoot from outside as well. Josh
Mhm.
Christopher is too good to be in the G League. He showed it last year when he went down, and when he came up, you saw what happened. He was able to contribute. The man damn near averaged 9 points a game, which showed you he can actually play. But I don't
Yep.
understand. You got Garrison Matthews sitting on the bench, warming the bench. You finally decide to stop playing him, which is I've been asking for to stop playing this man.
Yeah.
And
Ooh.
now all of a sudden you keep playing Daisha Nix over Tata Washington. And now you don't want to give Josh Christopher minutes. Now you stun his growth. And you're not giving him a chance. You're not giving him a chance like you did last year. So I just think, like I say, the rotations has been bad all year. You got players that aren't supposed to even be playing basketball for us. You're supposed to trade Eric Gordon last year, which you could
Mhm.
not find a deal that you wanted. The trade for him, I think they wanted a late first round pick, a late
They
round.
wanted a mid. They
No,
wanted a mid, yeah, 15 or better pick.
mm-hmm.
And I like Eric Gordon. I really do. I
Yeah,
respect him. But like, we should have just taken a late mid. You know, I would
that's
have
what I'm
been
saying. A
down for
late,
22.
I think he's a late first round pick caliber guy for a playoff team. For a playoff team, you get a late first round pick and you just move on from it and free up some a spot for Josh Christopher for him to play. I think you move on from Garrison Matthews. You move on from him. Let him walk. If we decide to do that in a trade deadline, some ideas that you
Yeah.
can do, you move on from him. He's not part of this future. You bring up Josh Christopher, you let Tata Washington get some minutes, but it's gonna start with Eric Gordon because he's kind of stunting the other guys' growth a little bit. And Tyra Eason, if you want to slide him in the lineup, you could. You
Yep.
want to slide him in the starting lineup because I think he's the future small forward for this Rockets team.
I really do like KJ. I appreciate what he does and the hard work he does, but I think it's getting to a boiling point for him, not necessarily on
Yeah,
us, but for him.
yeah,
And he's going to want to walk. And his dad is kind of getting in his head a little bit, getting
yeah,
a little too cocky. I won't even lie. Going on podcasts talking about he should be a starter on a championship team and stuff like that. And like, I do love KJ, but no,
yeah.
you're telling me he's better than Brandon Ingram. You are goofy.
He's not. He's going to be a bench player. He's not going to be a starter on a playoff team.
He's a very good role player, and he will be a very solid. Again, another team that would love to have this kind of 3-and-D role that can kind of play make a little bit. Let's be honest here. The Celtics. I don't understand why we're not trying to get into a deal with the Celtics, bro. They look. If there's a team I want to see win, it sure as hell ain't the Bucks.
Yep.
It sure as hell ain't the Bucks. I'd be okay with Philly. Let's do a deal with Philly. You know, they still got their first round pick that we can get as a pick swap with Brooklyn,
said that.
I believe.
Let's do a deal with Philly. Yep, I said that.
Yep. Yeah. Gordon, I think because realistically, we won't be able to keep KJ. He's worth too much, and I
Yep.
don't think we're going to give it to him. So if we can do a deal with Gordon and KJ, and then see if we can kind of move on from Bruno, and like you said, Garrison Matthews. I do like Gary Bird. I love him. He was a nice hype train there, but he's a liability on all sides of the floor, and his shot selection is not that good.
Not good at all.
He acted like he's Steph Curry every time he steps on the
I
floor.
always say that. I say that every single time on Twitter. Every time I say he had like he's Steph Curry shooting from the logo and stuff, getting out there just shoot immediately, and it'd be just bad shot selection by Garrison Matthews.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's nice, it's fun when he hits them. It's awesome.
Yep.
But like we don't win games that way,
Yep.
And I understand like we're a tanking team when we're taking the misfits around the league, But I mean, we just need to we need to develop, and especially if we're going to be entertaining this potential signing of James Harden in the offseason, we need to be really understanding where we're coming from, and being able to make sure that we can have pieces together that are cohesive. And I mean, next season is like the last season we can really be garbage, because I believe OKC owns our pick. In the Russ Westbrook Chris Paul trade. We got to be doing something. Okay, that's enough of the Magic in Houston dumpster fire of a game that was. I like to talk about Brooklyn.
Okay.
Brooklyn right now in their last 10 is 9-1, and they are 20-12 on the season, and they're 4th seed in the East. They are currently have a better record than the Philadelphia 76ers. I think that's insane to me, especially how wild it was coming in for Ben Simmons, since he's only averaging, I believe, 8 points a game right now, 8 points a game, 6.5 rebounds, and 6 assists. But you got your boy Kevin Durant going crazy, doing everything he can at the moment, putting up 30 points a game, 6 boards, and 5 assists. I would like to see the playmaking from KD. I think he's low-key an underrated playmaker. Not that he's a fantastic playmaker, but I think he's underrated. And what he can do, last season he averaged 5.7. And it's really nice to see him kind of coming through. I am a KD fan. I'm not a fan of the Golden State years because of what he used to do to us, but I am a fan. I am a fan of just KD in general, and as long as he's beating LeBron, I'm absolutely okay with that.
Yeah.
But KD's doing pretty well, and Kyrie in the stretch is averaging 26 points a game, 5 boards, and 4.5 assists right now, and that is nice to see again. Everyone's kind of being cohesive, but we don't want them to play well. That's the thing. We want them to be bad because we own all of their picks. Yeah, in the James Harden trade, we got the from Brooklyn, we got the 22, 24, and 26 first-round picks, as well as 4 pick swaps in 21, 23, 25, and 27. I would like to see us, I like Brooklyn, I really do, but they need to start losing a little bit. In their last 10, and this is the reason why I think they're winning, by the way. In the last 10, they have faced the Raptors, which they won. They lost to the Celtics. They beat the Hornets by 6. They beat the Hawks by 4. They beat the Pacers by 3. Beat the Wizards again by 12.
Wizards are terrible. Wizards been terrible before they lost. But they beat Phoenix, I believe. They've been terrible.
Yeah, they've just been absolutely atrocious. People gonna hate me for this. But Bradley Beal, he's a fantastic player. He's an all-star, but he is not an all-NBA caliber player.
I would say he's a star. He's a star. He's not a superstar. He's not a superstar. He's a star.
I do. There's levels I got kind of going on, like the elite, right? You think,
I'm on that level too. I'm on that level with you. I definitely agree with you.
And Bradley Beal, I can see him on an all-star team, but like he's not that guy, Right now, KP is actually averaging the same amount of points as him on better percentages. Yeah. So let's talk about that. But yeah, then the Nets face the Raptors again, winning by 3. And then the Nets face the Pistons, win by 3. And then they blow out Golden State Warriors. The record, I think right now, in a game of real or fake, if you will, I think the record is fake. They're facing all these teams that, perhaps they should be beating, but they're barely beating them, right? And they faced the G League Warriors last night. And of course, they're going to win. I expect them to win. However, when you're beating the Pistons by 3 and you're beating Washington by a couple points, you're beating the Pacers by 3, a broken Hawks team by 4, the Hornets, who are number 1 likely in the draft right now, by 6. I don't, sure, like, I understand championship teams should be beating the bad teams. I do. But they should be blowing them out. KD shouldn't be having to play 35, 37 minutes to beat the Pacers. He shouldn't have to be playing 40 minutes almost to beat Washington. I'm just not really a fan of kind of what's going on. I think the record is fake as it is, even though Jacques, he's been a fantastic coach. I like what he's done. He's really been getting Ben Simmons in a flow. Ben Simmons in 3 of his last 5 games has put up a whopping 10 points, which is a season high almost for him. He's doing pretty well on that end.
Mhm.
But, you're going to need more from your boys, especially when he's putting up 8 points a game. In his last 5, he's put up 10 points, 4 points, 10, 10, and 6 to average out 8 points a game in that stretch. I believe they're paying him almost $40 million a year, $35.5 million to put up 8 points a game.
That's basically the Sixers contract that they paying them basically.
Yep.
But the Boston's, like, I do like their wins against Boston and Toronto. Toronto beat a very good Knicks team. And talk about Pascal Siakam, who dropped 50 on the New York Knicks, who's been playing some really good basketball lately. So I kind of do. Their schedule is in and out, but they do got some quality wins in there that you can't count for them. But like I said, I can expect if Kyrie Irving plays if he decides to play basketball and commit to basketball with the Brooklyn Nets, those picks are not going to come in handy for us. I think they're going to get a lot more wins with those two on the basketball court. They also got some a Curry on the court. They also got a Joe Harris who can fill it up and shoot.
Yes.
They got a very good energized center in Claxton as well. So I can see our draft picks all of a sudden being shot if Kyrie Irving just stays on the floor. Now, if he somehow goes into a temper tantrum again and say forget about basketball, then we can just start seeing those picks look really good. But Kyrie Irving basically has to stay on the floor for the Brooklyn Nets to be very good. Now they're not gonna win a championship. I don't think they're winning a championship. They're not a championship type of team. They're not better than Milwaukee. They're not better than Boston all around through. But I think they can at least be a 4th seed in the Eastern Conference as long as Kyrie Irving stays on the floor. He just got to be committed to stays on the floor. That can cause a lot of problems for the teams in the East.
Yeah, absolutely. Something I would really like to see in terms of good things for Brooklyn. If they rolled a lineup of Kyrie, Ben Simmons, Joe Harris, Seth Curry, and KD, I'm not going to lie, how are you stopping that team on the 3?
Yep.
I mean, you got Ben Simmons who would just facilitate every 3-point. He probably put up 100 assists that game, I mean, like, it would be nice to see them change it up in terms of just for basketball, not for us as Houston Rockets fans, but in terms of just basketball, then they kind of change that up. And KD's got to play less minutes. I'm hoping that Kyrie walks and goes to somewhere else, probably signs with LA. Let's be honest. That's kind of the feel I was getting in the offseason, is that there might have actually been a Russell Westbrook and Kyrie trade just because of how the LA fans especially view Russell Westbrook. Unfortunately, I do love Russ. I really do. But yeah, I thought there would have been a trade, even though Kyrie right now appears to be the better player, an all NBA caliber player. It was looking real down bad for the Lakers, especially missing the playoffs for the second time in 3 or 4 years, with LeBron being there, missed the playoffs in 19 and then missed the playoffs last year. And I believe in the seeding right now, the Lakers are looking like they're about to miss the playoffs once again.
Anthony Davis out for another 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, man.
He's out for 3 to 4 months. But I do got to actually question I need to ask you. I got actually 2 questions I want to ask you, and it's result into our Rockets. So we know we're hearing suspicious. The report came out of James Harden potentially come back to Houston, but it's a question that I want to ask you about that. Do you think it's telling me that he may not be happy in Philadelphia, the way the playing style with him and Joel Embiid? But in your opinion, do you think James Harden is happy, and do you think that will be potentially become a James Harden coming back to Houston, or is it a sign that he kind of missed? He regret leaving Houston, all the city have done for him, and all the moves that we made because of him. What's your take on it?
To be fair, I don't necessarily think Harden is displeased in Philly. I don't think he's the happiest he's ever been because he's not their number one guy. At least like in Brooklyn, KD was viewed as the number one guy, but Harden still put up 25, 10, and 10 every night. So he didn't care. He just wanted to win a chip. Then he comes over to Philly, and you got Tobias Harris putting up 11 points a game. You got PJ Tucker dropping goose eggs 2 out of every 3 games, and it's nothing on PJ. It's nothing on
Yeah,
Tobias because I do like Philly. I've liked them since the Jimmy Butler days in 2018, 2019. I'm just I think he's kind of fed up with the coaching. Doc
mhm,
Rivers, who was a solid coach, I do respect him, but I
yeah,
mean, we really should have beat Miami. I understand that Joel was out for one game, but we should have won that game. And Doc is playing James Harden as a second career or the second most minutes in his career for minutes per game at 36.8 minutes per game, coming off a hamstring injury, and then he just had another ligament injury recently. I
yeah,
can't remember.
yeah, yeah. He did.
Wait, he's coming off two crucial injuries that most players don't even recover from, and here he is being an Iron Man playing the second most minutes in his career. I think he's more or less displeased with how it's being run. And if he wins a chip, I think he might re-sign for that one more year. I mean, 35 million looks real nice in anyone's bank account, so I can't see why. But I think if he comes here, it can be good and bad.
Okay.
He his defense, right? Because we're from what it looks like watching the games, it looks like that our Houston team is really taking defense as like an initiative. We're not necessarily playing the greatest defense,
Yeah,
but we are taking it and we live in it. We got our locksmith here. He's been performing fantastically.
yeah,
We've got a couple other players who have been really, really doing really well on the defensive end, and KPJ against the Bucks, especially. I wouldn't want them to pick up those bad habits necessarily.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and we all know how James Harden likes to go to the club. I don't want Jalen Green to pick up the habit of let's practice and pull an AI and go do
yeah,
something else. I want them to keep working. They're young. Now, if it was say it's his last season, it's his farewell tour. He wants to come over here, right? And he knows he's not going to get a lot of playing time. He'll play 10 minutes a game, whatever. I'm okay with that. I would be all right with that. Also, the bad thing if James Harden comes over, that it speeds up all of our timelines for
yeah,
rebuilding. James Harden comes over. The only way I see that happening is if Wemby comes here. If we get Wemby and then we get James Harden, I think we're fine. We'll trade a couple
yeah,
pieces away. We can give up a couple picks at that moment. That's fine. I'm all right with that. But if we don't get Wemby, I we don't have a rolling big that can sustain with Harden, because that's how he makes his money, is between the floater, layup, or the alley. And that's like kind of his patent and stuff. We saw that
yeah,
with Nicholas Claxton dunking on LeBron last year on Christmas. We saw that with Joel Embiid when he wants to be a rolling big. But all in all, really depends on the situation for the team, that
yeah.
how it would be beneficial for us.
I mean, we if we somehow end up with Wemby, don't you know how crazy with Alp and Wemby in the same area, and you already have Jabari Smith on the perimeter. Then you got your two guards. That would be a pretty decent lineup. Wemby, Alp, Jabari Smith. You got him at 6'10".
Mm-hmm.
And you got the two guards who about 6'6" and 6'5". That's a lot of height, and Wemby being able to dribble and shoot the ball from anywhere, that would be a crazy lineup. But go ahead.
So going forward with that, right? Say our lineup is those three from the backcourt there, or for the front court there. For our backcourt, Jalen and KPJ. If we sign James Harden ain't coming off the bench.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like in the near future, I
Right.
agree with you.
Yeah.
We may not get James Harden. It was just a
Yeah. Yep. The
idea.
hypothetical.
It was just an hypothetical, but it was just an idea. Because it's the rumors out there, suspicion. If things don't work out, he could potentially come back here. Which is I don't want him back here. We did do a lot for him. He did went out and party and stuff. Came into work late. Came to work late and stuff. He was the definition of getting Chris Paul up out of here. After Chris
Mm-hmm.
Paul tried to, give him a little bit of advice. You seen that at the Utah game
Yeah.
when he had trouble with him when he slapped his hand away. You seen that they had some issues. And Russell Westbrook kind of had an issue with him in the film room as well. Was telling Mike
The work
D'Antoni,
ethic.
he's going, yep, just go ahead and start the film. And Mike D'Antoni said we're gonna rewind it back. And Russell Westbrook got mad about that and stuff like that. So he wasn't okay with that. They had a broken relationship.
Mm-hmm.
They were best friends with him coming in, but on the court, everything didn't work out with them two. But it was just a hypothetical one. But like the second question I wanted to ask you is about Stephen Silas. Now, if we decide to fire Stephen Silas into the off season, who would you like to come coach this team? Who would you like for the head coaching job?
So I guess number one candidate's gonna be our assistant coach, John Lucas, right? He's one of one right now, so that's a 100% record. No other coach in the league has that. I I like that. But as far as it goes, I like him. I do like if we can have any coach generally. I like what the Pacers coach has done over there. He used to coach for the Mavs. I can't remember his name.
Rick Carlisle. It's Rick Carlisle.
Yes, Rick. I like Rick. He's taken all these young guys and kind of meshed them together with like Buddy Hield playing a much better Eric Gordon role. He's not ball hogging or anything like that. He's just letting young guys run the show, and then the other guys, more of the veteran type guys, they're able to get their ones in here or there, like Miles Turner and all that. They're not run through Miles Turner like we run through Eric Gordon. They're not run through Buddy Hield like we do Eric Gordon. It's nice to see. Another coach I guess I'd like to see is the coach of the current Utah Jazz. I like what he's doing over there. He's doing a fantastic job. Lauri Markkanen's making an all-star case all of a sudden. I would have never thought that. He's looking like what KP used to look like over in New York, and that's it's kind of a rarity right there. Not that I want to compare them and saying that they are equal, but big men that have the step back three are rare. And Lauri Markkanen, AD, Joel Embiid, again, not that they're the same on par with each other in terms of equality and skill set, but it's the fact that there's so little of them, and he's one of those big men on that Mount Rushmore of a step back. Yeah, and then I do like Monty Williams, but I low key think that he's a locker room cancer. You see what he does with DeAndre Ayton. You see how he's treated Jay Crowder. Him and Chris Paul get together so well because they push their guys, which is awesome. Yep. You need to push them, but there's a point where you need to quit pushing them and let them do them. And they don't. Those two don't realize that. They just keep going and going and going, and that kind of breaks apart the team.
Yeah, I got a coaching candidates that I want to get out there too. I got three of them actually. Sam Cassell, the assistant coach from the 76ers. Sam Cassell has the Houston ties. I think he will be a good fit for the young team. You look at Chauncey Billups over there in Portland, how he got that team is playing. I think Sam Cassell can develop young talent. I think this is a good environment for him to come in. I'm thinking about Jeff Hornacek. I would like him as well. And a lot of people don't like this guy as a coach, but I think with a young team, I think he can be solid. I think he can be a solid coach. I'm not going to hold him for over there what he did in Brooklyn, because that's tough to coach veteran guys like that. They got ego problems like Kevin Durant and Kyrie. Steve Nash, with a young team like this, I think Steve Nash can be a capable head coach, teaching the young guys that are going to buy in, that's going to listen to what he's going to say, that's going to listen. And that's tough. Knowing you haven't coached before, and knowing you haven't coached, and you got to step in the locker room with Kyrie not being there every day, Kyrie Irving not playing when he wants to, and then you got to go with Steve Nash. Kevin Durant wanting you fired. If you didn't get fired, then it was him. All them locker room issues, guys that being hurt, and you walking into an ego problem already. You got Kyrie Irving saying we don't even need a head coach. Fact. Basically disrespecting them. So I think if he comes into a young environment, I think things will be better for Steve Nash.
Yeah, kind of starting off as like an official first-time head coach with such a new and fresh team. I kind of like that. I do. I didn't think about Steve Nash like that. I also like the previous Nets coach, what he did with D'Lo and all that. I really liked him. I also can't remember his name, but I really liked him. He was good. All right. So before we go, I'm going to do a quick tankathon spin. I'm just going to talk the 1 through 5. Currently, we're sitting at Detroit as the number 1 pick, unfortunately. Charlotte with the number 2. Houston with 3 again. San Antonio with 4. And Orlando with 5. I'll give it a quick spin. All right. So, unfortunately, Orlando shoots back up to number 1, getting the first overall pick, of course. Detroit getting the number 2. Charlotte getting 3. And we shoot down to 4. So say we get the 4th pick, right, in San Antonio 5. Say we get the 4th pick. We can assume that Scoot and Wemby, they're gone and scooped up. 3rd overall pick, I would probably say it's going to be one of the Thompson brothers, Amen Thompson.
Yeah.
So number 4, who would you want?
Number 4, let me see. Do you got Mikey Williams up there, but he's a guard though. He's a guard. We got too many guards up there.
Too many
I
guards.
think we're gonna need more of a power forward guy. We're gonna need more of a power forward. Do gotta check to see what's coming out by the college or what can we get at fourth spot. But fourth spot, man, like I said, I think we need to be at number 2. We need to be more number 2. Scoop Henderson, Scott, is pretty good, man. So we gotta be at that 2, and I think we have to be at 2 and number 1. We have to be to get either one of them. We got to be at 2 or number 1. We cannot be at least 3 or 4. Definitely at 4. We won't get not one of them guys.
See, for me, I'm an Anthony Black truther.
I forgot Anthony Black. I love Anthony Black too from Arkansas.
Yes.
I love Anthony Black. I love him.
I think he plays for the Razorbacks right now.
Yeah, he plays for Arkansas.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
He's
putting up 12 points a game, 5 rebounds, and 3.7 assists on 52% from the field. I mean, he's real nice, man. I honestly wouldn't mind him as our small forward, because then we would have people going to say what they want about this. But I think Anthony Black is a low-key underrated playmaker. They don't use him as a playmaker as much. But, I mean, his turnover ratio, he's putting up 2.8 turnovers in college with almost 4 assists. That's kind of whatever. But it's his 3-point percentage that also sticks out. So being able to be a dual guy, he's putting up almost 40% from 3, just kind of like how Jabari was.
Yep.
So far, starting lineup is KPJ, Jalen, both solid playmakers, KPJ being the better one. Anthony Black.
Yep.
Alperen Sengun and Jabari Smith is eating. It's going to be a 4-out. Sengun can do whatever he wants in the post. Fine, cool. And if they're going to double him, we got too many people that can shoot. I would love Anthony Black for.
I like him. I kept an eye on him. So I hope another center that I like coming out. He's not. I think he can play more that power forward range. If you want to go bigger, a little bit bigger to keep guys off the offensive rebound and slide Jabari to possibly the 3 position. You got a guy from North Carolina who's really good, Armando Bancotton. He's pretty good as well. He's pretty good for North Carolina. So I love Anthony Black though. I like Anthony Black. He's a really good player, man. He's a really great player.
I really think he's really good, like with the explosiveness, and he's just unbelievably efficient, which I really like.
Yep.
And another guy who's actually pretty solid, Cam Whitmore.
Yep.
He's pretty good. If we have to go for a power forward, a guy I go for is Gregory Jackson. He's been pretty solid lately. I think they have him labeled more of a. I got the scouting report pulling up here. They got him as labeled close to a Jeremy Grant kind of guy. He's very explosive, fast, and he's got the mid range, and he can step out from 3, which is very nice to hear. Hang on, let me go back here. Yeah, they got him as a Jeremy Grant, a smoother Jeremy Grant, and a more advanced Josh Smith.
Yep.
I could take a better Jeremy Grant for this team right now.
You ain't lying. Someone that can be more efficient, that can be more efficient and got the athleticism. That would be tough to stop.
Yeah, he's 6'9" and 210. And I think that'd be a fantastic kind of guy coming out. But yeah, like I said, if not either of those guys, I would love Anthony Black. And if not that, and say we get the number 1 pick, if we don't go Victor, we don't go Scoot, I'm firing the whole front office myself.
Yep. You can't miss. You better not be at number 1 and number 2. You miss on those 2 guys. You better not miss. You can't strike out.
Absolutely. All right, with that, I'd like to end it off today. You can let them know where you can find you.
You can find me at Coach Dante on Twitter. You can find me at Coach Dante on YouTube as well. Twitter, Dante30, Coach Dante31, and Coach Dante on YouTube. So shout out to everybody, man, for being a part. And it's an honor to be a part of this BOP podcast talking about our Rockets, man. So let's keep it going.
Absolutely. And you can find me on Twitter at drip2ps_God, GAWD on Twitter. And hey, thanks for watching. You guys have a great day. See ya.
You guys have a great day. See y'all.